Well, I mean, speaking of riders who like attacking out, Tadej Pogacar, the world champion, looking to emulate Mathieu van der Poel from last year, being the world champion to win both Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix in the same year. Debutant in the race, he's taken KOMs here, there, and everywhere on the course, in recons, with or without motor pacing. I'm not quite sure. Heard murmurs about motor pacing there as well. Okay, but Strava doesn't matter when it comes to monument racing. And how do you think Pogacar is going to fare here? And then we'll get to the second part. How is he going to win it?
I think it'll be like a duck to water, to be honest with you. I think it'll be just fine. Based upon the fact that he's able to survive the Ronde van Vlaanderen and the cobbles there, I think realistically Pogacar shouldn't have too much trouble with the Paris-Roubaix cobbles. Yes, they are more severe. And it's different because they're, the cobbled bergs of Flanders definitely favour Pogacar more because he's lighter than the absolute pan-flat, raw power sectors that Paris-Roubaix offer. So I think that Pogacar will still do very well, but I do feel like there's also this element of people generally do better in this race when they're a little bit older and they've had multiple editions under their belt to get that experience. And also Pogacar is just quite a bit lighter than a lot of people. He is kind of outside the range of somebody who would typically be doing well in this race. Saying that, he's also Tadej Pogacar, and he is an absolute freak of nature. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility to believe that Pogacar, because he is, at the end of the day, such a fantastic rouleur, like he's just everything. It's not out of the realms that Pogacar could do some real damage in this race.
I mean, the rider that many people have been talking about that he's mirroring almost is Bernard Hinault, who has won Paris-Roubaix and obviously a very good Grand Tour rider. Second most Grand Tours to only Eddy Merckx in his career. And yeah, but that aside, Tadej Pogacar, how does he win this, do you think? Because I don't see him out sprinting if he takes Mathieu van der Poel or Jasper Philipsen to the velodrome. So, I mean, there's only one way, really, isn't there?
Yeah, there is only really one way, which is that Pogacar needs to go solo, very much like he did in Flanders. And I don't think that's beyond the realms of possibility. I think he'll especially be targeting those 5-star sectors, the Monzon-Pével and the Carrefour de l'Arbre. I expect that he'll just get through the Arenberg Trench and just, get through that and just see what's happening. But I think, Monzon-Pével and Carrefour de l'Arbre, he'll be trying to really put the hammer down. That'll be my expectation. He's also got a very strong team here. It's also worth mentioning because he's got 2 teammates in here who have finished on the podium of this race as well in the previous editions, which is Nils Pollitt and Florian Vermeersch. So it's no slouch for team alongside Antonio Morgado and Tim Wellens currently. This is why I said that Philipsen needs to be up there in his best game, because I think that Pogacar will have at least Pollitt there later on into the race. So that's why Mathieu van der Poel needs Philipsen there, because if Pogacar has Pollitt there as well, if Van der Poel manages to attack, it's possible that Pogacar will still have a rider there to try and bring Van der Poel back. Yeah, that's why Philipsen needs to be in good form as well in order for Van der Poel to be successful. So it's a really interesting dynamic we've got going into this race of multiple teams having multiple options.
But, I mean, I don't understand how you can win the Tour de France and do well at Paris-Roubaix. He is absolutely a freak of nature. You can have the numbers, you can have all this, but if you ever tried riding on these things, the Arenberg Forest is horrible. It's not meant for riding bikes, and the way Mathieu van der Poel just floats across it, and then also Tadej Pogacar will have to be able to do that as well in order to just be in contention with this other super freak. So yeah, it's incredulous in a way.
It's also a thing of like bike handling as well. I'd say that generally Van der Poel, and I think we can all kind of agree, Van der Poel is a better bike handler than Tadej Pogacar is, and that does play a large part in it. And being able to surf over those cobbles, that cyclocross background really does pay dividends a lot of the time. You see with riders who do cyclocross generally do quite well in Paris-Roubaix. So I definitely think that favours Van der Poel as well. Whereas Pogacar, generally people on debut don't do that great in this race. It's not completely unheard of, but I'm just saying that the kind of the data says that people who'd come here on debut at that sort of age that Pogacar is generally don't do very well in this race. But it is Tadej Pogacar, so therefore he might well book that trend.
There is one rider who's coming to mind, but I don't know if I'm wrong with that. wasn't Sonny Colbrelli? Wasn't he a debutant when he won?
Yeah, but that was a completely wacky edition.
Yeah, that's true. They
That
were
was mad.
all over the place.
There was all sorts of caveats going in there. But yeah, you're right.
Pithy as well. He was doing quite well.
Yeah, Piffy did good on debut.
But neither of these are winning the Tour de France.
Yeah, that's true. But Piffy didn't win the race either. Like he did well.
True.
And also Piffy's heavier. Like he can probably generate just more raw power than Poggy does. He just doesn't have a watts per kilo.
Would you try and send Nils Pollard in the break or Antonio Magado or someone like that? Or is that too much?
I mean, it'd be great if you could do. I just don't think there's any way in hell that any other team's going to allow that to happen. That's my kind of belief in that.
Do you think UAE are going to be taking control of the race?
It might be, just because, I don't know, maybe Alpecin, after being like, oh, you won Tour of Flanders, off you go. It's up to you now, big boys. I reckon they might do. Yeah, you might see UAE wanting to take control, but also being sort of forced to take control by some of the other big teams.
But I mean, we might as well switch the focus away from Pogacar and Mathieu van der Poel. Mats Pedersen did split the two in Tour of Flanders. He did finish second. He was also third last year, and he has this, ambition of winning a monument. Why not? He's come very close. And he thinks that Paris-Roubaix is his best shot at winning a monument. Is it? I don't know. I mean, he's pretty good suited to Milan-San Remo. Tour of Flanders, he's done pretty well. That's the one he's done best at. And then Paris-Roubaix, third last year, fourth the year before. And he was in a very good position as well. He said if he had Jonathan Milan, maybe things would have been a bit different in that finale.
Yeah, I think if this happened, it's going to be here. I think Pedersen could win this race, honestly. It's not out of the realms of possibility. He looked super good at Flanders. The only thing which really let him down was just when the road started going uphill. I think that he is more suited to Roubaix, and I think that kind of the time is right. He's got a good team here. He's in good form. As long as he doesn't get one of these mystery illnesses that seems to plague people the days before a big event, I think that Pedersen is up there as one of the contenders for this race, and backed up by a strong team at the moment of Matthias Vatsek, Dan Hohle, Jonathan Milan and Jasper Stuyven, who was also incredibly integral to him finishing second in the Ronde. I think Pedersen's got an absolutely great shot. He's going up against Van der Poel, who might have taken a little bit of a confidence knock after Flanders, and Pogacar, who's an unknown entity who you don't really know how he's going to be going. So I think Pedersen actually has got probably his best shot ever of winning a monument, and I think that this probably provides his best opportunity to do so. Probably more than Il Lombardia does, let's say that.
I was just going to see, I have an idea that he finished on the podium in the junior edition. No, he actually won it in 2013. Yeah, we know the correlation between the junior Paris-Roubaix and winning is not that great. I mean, Tom Pidcock has won this in the past, and so has Geraint Thomas. And I don't think Geraint Thomas is winning this anytime soon, but he has actually been part of it. So
you know that Thymen Arensman has finished on the podium of a Paris-Roubaix.
Wow.
It was an under 23 or the junior version, and there you go. That just goes to show the trend between, do you know that I think Carlos Rodriguez has finished inside the top 10 of a Paris-Roubaix under 23? Just goes to show what kind of wacky results you get from that.
Matthias Gilmour Jensen was third in 2018.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, come on.